What's going on there, guys? We back with another one, and we got to talk about Ezekiel Elliott, man. It's going viral on the internet that he may actually be released by the Dallas Cowboys with the emergence of Tony Pollard. And, with him and his game declining at this stage in his career, now a report came out from JPA Football, and they said, update, scouts and analysts all agree that Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott has very little left in his legs. His only chance at not making league minimum is to stay in Dallas. And, Zeke, he's set to make $16.7 million in 2023. And that's just, many people feel that he would be vastly overpaid at that. And Dez Bryant, seeing that report, he did not like a word of it. And he said, how can all scouts and analysts agree to this? Zeke ain't going to tell me nothing for me to know that he was sacrificing his unhealed body to give the Cowboys the best chance to win games playing whatever role. But if you're going to talk about his game declining, make sure you talk about how badly injured he was. Make it make sense. Everybody will eventually take a step back, but nowhere near how they are trying to make Zeke look. Keep your mental tight, Zeke. So, Dez, he's another one that felt like, his ending with the Cowboys was less than storybook. And, running backs, they don't really have a long life in the NFL. We know how this go. And this is partly the reason why he held out a few years ago, because that window for that big running back contract is very small. Now, they saying the Cowboys could actually waive him and then re-sign him. That's one option. They could waive him, and let him go, or they could just, simply restructure his deal and make it more team friendly, where they can we'll go around and do some more things with that money. Now, guys, the emergence of Tony Pollard shouldn't be overlooked in this too. According to reports, they're looking at not giving Tony Pollard, quote unquote, the big long-term deal, but they are looking at franchise tagging him. This is just based off rumors, right? This is what they're looking at doing, because he's clearly running back number one going into next season. And we saw that some this season too. So there's a lot of things to figure out there in Dallas. Looks like Jerry is going to stick by Dak. And, Zeke's going to go. Now, I do think Zeke, he provided some value, especially, on the goal line. He was able to run some in when they got in position that Pollard, he was getting stopped at. So, if they waive him and he's willing to come back or whatever, that would be good for the team. But also, a restructured deal, that may be good too. But it's going to be strange, because I'm sure he still wants his money. So it'll be a little bit of a sore spot there. Now, the Juice, he spoke about running backs and their deals. He spoke in depth, about Saquon Barkley's contract coming up. And he also talked about the Tony Pollard and Zeke dynamic. Check out what he had to say.
Any event, watching sports, for me, the interesting thing is what some of these teams are going to do with running backs. I think running backs are the most underpaid position in football. We look at the Giants. They got a big decision to make with Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones. This past year, I think Barkley made $7 million and Jones made $8 million. They're talking about who to franchise. Now, if you franchise Barkley, it's only going to cost them $10 or $11 million. If I was Barkley, there's no way I would want that. I would think if I'm Barkley, I'm looking for at least a 3-year deal, somewhere probably in the $45 million range, which I still think is very underpaid for running backs when you consider so many wide receivers are making over $20 million. And a lot of those running backs are catching almost as many passes as the wide receivers, not to mention they got to run the ball, they got to block blitzing linebackers. Their bodies are getting beat up and their careers are shorter. But anyway, I'm hoping that they give Barkley, at least a 3-year contract, and they can franchise Daniel Jones. Do you know what Daniel Jones would get with a franchise? $32 million. And if they're going to sign him to any contract, it'll be probably with the quarterback coach they got, the coaching he's getting, and the improvement he showed this year. It'll be well over $100 million multi-year contract. So this year I'd like to see him franchise him and give Barkley what I think he deserves. Look at the Raiders. What are they going to do with Josh Jacobs? Here's a guy that led the league in rushing last year. He's been a hard worker. He's been just a good guy, but he has no contract. And what will they pay him? I think the highest contract in recent years have been Zeke Elliott. I think he had like an average of like $16 million contract. I honestly, I think the salary cap is about $18 million against Zeke this year, and it's hard for me to think the Cowboys are going to bring him back. Looking at that, I think they're going to try to negotiate Zeke down, even though I thought Zeke had a decent year, and Zeke did all the hard work on short yardage, and all you have to do is see him pick up one of them blitzing linebackers, and Zeke worked hard, but Pollard is definitely the more exciting back right now, and he's a home run hitter and certainly the most dangerous guy coming out of that backfield. Just hope his ankle comes back, and it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to pay him. Running backs are totally underpaid. The top wide receivers are in the mid-20s. Devontae Adams, Tariq Hill, while the top running back would have been Zeke. They're barely in the teens, despite the beating they take. And I don't care what anybody say. I understand the quarterback position is the key position on all teams, the way the league, the rules are today. But yeah, they probably should be paid the most. But some of these wide receivers should not be paid substantially more than running backs who normally catch just as many passes as they catch, and also have to deal with running the ball and picking up blitzing linebackers. That's just what I think. Giants, pay Barkley. Raiders, pay Jacobs. Dallas, no, I don't know what you're going to do, but I'm sure you got a couple of tough decisions to make, because Pollard was really terrific this year. Anyway, take care. I hope you're enjoying soccer and basketball. Can we get to March Madness? I've just said, take care. God bless.